Alright, welcome ladies and gentlemen to a new episode of Wasted Potential where we'll be discussing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm your host, Sol, and this is my co-host, wait a minute, you're not M. Who the hell are you?
I'm not sure how I got here. I was on my way somewhere else. Hello everybody, I'm Ryan Taylor. I co-host Jedi Dropout's Final Form and a couple other podcasts over at Jedi Dropout's Productions. And no, I'm not M.
Yeah, notice he's a lot more calm about everything. But yeah, I have decided to wrangle in someone else, and consider the fact the only other podcasters I know were from Jedi Dropouts, I kidnapped Ryan.
Yeah, it's fine. It's been a while since I've been kidnapped.
You make it sound like
I
it's
haven't
a
met
normal occurrence.
I mean, it's not regular, but like every 5 years or so, just to shake things up, you know.
That's a little too normal.
You've never been to Newfoundland, have you?
No.
No, well,
Mostly
you'll see.
because I hate flying, so I'd have to drive, and that's a really long drive.
Oh, so we're gonna talk turtles today, hey?
Oh yes, we are talking about the Lean Green Fighting Machines. God, I can't think. They got so many titles at this point. I can't even think of half of them. Heroes in a Half Shell. Yeah, they just got a lot of titles. In fact, I think they got about as many titles as Spider-Man does.
Yeah, really though.
So yeah, let's start off with. Go ahead.
I just want to say I'm no expert. I'm not a Turtles diehard who knows every little factoid and every character and every iteration.
Guilty as charged.
What's that?
Guilty as charged.
But I have been a fan for as long as I can remember, pretty much. So I feel like I've got a bit of input here.
Oh yeah, at least a lot more than M would have.
Not a
He didn't
fan,
really
is
get
he?
into 2003 series, but I was back in the 80s with it. Back when the original cartoon first aired. But
okay, so you were watching during like the turtle hype.
Oh yes, and then the Glorious movie came out, and then the sequel came out and just dropped, and then the third one just face planted on the cement.
At what point in there was the coming out of their shells tour?
We don't discuss that. I'm not even sure because I always forget about that because it's just one of those most horrible things that just right out of my head.
Oh, yeah. There's a few of those.
With anything going on with this grandstand, there's going to be a couple of those things that always happen.
Oh yeah, I mean they've pretty much been constantly they've been constantly adapted since the 80s.
Yeah,
essentially. There's not really any
I think the best point would be to talk about the history of the TMNT.
Yeah,
because a lot of people say the cartoon started as a way to make toys. That's honestly the truth. That's how the entire cartoon got started. But little known fact, this actually the comics, which was the original of the Turtles, started as a joke between the creators. Yeah, and they even started drawing like little turtles with weapons taped in their hands, which just sounds really fun and silly now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, it's funny because when you look at the original comics, like they were very much more in line of like Frank Miller comics.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's because they're based a little bit more on Daredevil at the time. That was a real popular comic series. They're a lot more serious.
They're very, very dark and serious, but like these two guys, what is it, Eastman and Laird? These are some real fucking nerds. Like,
yeah,
these are like top of the line. Like, I can assure you, like. I could picture these comics being written and designed around a game of Dungeons and Dragons. Like,
it actually, like I said, it just started as them just joking around with a picture of a turtle ninja with like weapons taped to their hands, and then the other guy tried to outdo the other guy, and they just kind of kept going with it until eventually we had the basic formation of the Turtles, who were almost non-distinguishable between each other except for their weapons when they were first made.
Yeah, pretty much.
The actual differences between the color of their bandanas and personalities really didn't take a hit until they got into the cartoons.
Yeah, like
and the
everything.
creators liked that so much they put it into they made it canon in the comics.
Yeah, everything we know as essentially turtles, like you said, the colors of the bandanas, the personality styles, even the pizza. That all came about when they were trying to market it to kids more and sell toys.
Yeah, they made some toys and then made an episode around it. So it's kind of like that's why the episodes in the early 1980s were so random at times.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, a hot air balloon, a tank that shoots sewer lids or pizzas, the turtle van.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, you're talking a huge amount of toys that sold well, actually.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I had the little sewer layer, the pizza launcher.
Oh, okay. I had the van.
I didn't have the van for some reason. I never found it.
So, you mentioned your experience and your introduction to Turtles a little, but I wasn't around in the '80s, so I never really got peak Turtles hype. When I was born, the show was already in production, but my cousin, who off the top of my head I'm gonna say he's roughly 10 years older than me, he was the perfect age for the Turtles mania. And so I grew up playing with his action figures. He had most of them. And then later on getting handed down from him a lot of these figures. Watching reruns of the 80s cartoon and the new episodes that were on.
I was born in 85, so I don't know exactly I forget exactly when the Turtle cartoons came out. And I forget exactly when I got into it, but all I remember is that as soon as I saw it, I'm watching every episode of this. Saturday mornings are now Turtle time.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I can't put an age on it. I can't remember exactly what age I was into the Turtles, but they were just kind of always there.
Yeah. I think that's how you market that you had a good show, is that no one can really particularly put it, but you know it was always a part of you.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly. Some shows you can always pinpoint exactly where you saw it and what age you were. But I don't know if it's because of how young it was or how engrossed I was in it, but I honestly couldn't tell you the exact moment when I was so engrossed in the Turtles.
Yeah. I mean, the cartoon itself started, I'm pretty sure it was the late 80s.
Probably, because I might have started really getting to in the late 90s when I had more cognitive thought, maybe. I mean, I was
yeah.
I mean, hell, I'm still an idiot, but...
But, like, I remember not only watching the cartoons at a very young age, but I know for a fact I watched my cousin play the NES, the original NES game.
Oh God!
Many a time. Yeah, I watched him
that
play
game
that
was
so
the killer
much.
of my patience.
Oh my God! Like, going back and watching it, it's like this game is like fucking impossible. But I remember watching it and like the fact that they changed between side-scrolling and top-down and all these, like, it was a really weird game.
Look, all I'm saying is fuck those electric weeds.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I actually had to waste like almost even more than 2/3 of every turtle's health just to get through that.
Yeah, sounds right.
I see the easy trick with Rocksteady, just have Donatello stay on top of the crates and just poke down with his staff.
See, I never actually played the game. That's the thing. I was young enough that I was just watching my cousin play.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would have gotten fucking anywhere at that age.
Oh, I didn't get anywhere until I got older and started playing it again.
Yeah, I haven't. See, I haven't touched it I've gone back and watched walkthroughs and gameplay, but no, I haven't played it. I'm hands off.
If you ever get that far, the Techno was going to kick your ass.
Yeah, I'm not even that good at it.
But yeah, like we said, it started as a comic, got really popular off the basics, because when they were first made, the Turtles really were more different between their weapons and their names. And that was really the only way to really define between them. Because their master was a rat, they had human friends, other mutants came along that were different than Turtles. But the four main, you had no way really of telling them apart. They were just standing there in the comics.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, I forget who produced the cartoon now. That's not even on the top of my head.
I cannot remember the producer off the top of my head. I know Chuck Lorre, the producer of like every sitcom ever, was the guy who did the theme song, which is ridiculous.
Yeah, but the theme song was so catchy. That's why I loved it.
Oh yeah, I think that guy's done a few of like the classic theme songs
Yeah.
are just ingrained in people's heads.
I'm trying to see. For cinema series. Series were produced by Murakami Wolf Swanson Film Productions.
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah, try saying that 5 times fast. Later, Fred Wolf Films.
Okay, yeah.
Mirage Studios does not own the rights to the cartoon series, ironically.
Of course not.
Well, why would they make money off of anything?
Yeah, true.
But, yeah, so when the cartoons started kicking off, they made the Turtles have their own personalities and give them color bandanas so you can tell who was who standing there. Because they all had the same green colored skin, all the same shell. You could literally just cut and mold the 4 of them and then just color them in.
Yeah. I mean, if they didn't go with the colored bandanas, then you'd never sell all 4 turtle toys.
Of course not.
What kid would want 4 of the exact like identical action figure?
I claim nothing.
Well, never mind. Wrong audience.
Well, they do have different weapons, so I gotta get the weapons.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And then they had the little belts with their little insignias on it, which is really kind of weird for a ninja to have something that identifies them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just from Master Splinter going senile. Oh, which one are you? Let me see your belt.
Yeah, that makes sense actually.
Because Splinter's age kind of randomly goes around too.
Yeah, like, do they ever actually...
Well, Splinter's actually an interesting character because he's got like 3 different origins compared to the Turtles as well.
Yeah. Splinter's origin is hard to keep straight.
Yeah, I'll go over the different ones when we talk about the individual characters. But basically, what happened was the show hit off, got to an amazing, I think, like 9 seasons. Which, for an 80s show, that's amazing, I honestly think.
Oh, yeah.
But
absolutely.
I rewatched like seasons 1 through 9 like 2 or 3 years ago. And you could tell by the time season 7 came along, they were just... I mean, they weren't bad. They were just running on fumes at that point.
Oh, yeah.
2 more seasons. It was just, how did you guys do this?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the more iconic things about the 80s cartoon was so many mistakes between the voices coming out, the wrong colors on the turtles. It was just glorious to laugh at sometimes.
Yeah.
You had Raphael speaking Leonardo's lines. You had Donatello speaking like Raphael. They were just too numerous to list.
Yeah. I went back a few years ago and watched it too, and like, I forgot how quickly that show went completely off the rails.
Oh, they went off the rails because it was marketed to make toys. That was the entire reason, because they had to fit the show around the toy. The toy came first, not the show.
Another theory I like on that one is it is a show based around ninjas in New York City, but it was created by 2 nerds who have no experience fighting and are not from New York. So very quickly, they're like, hey, let's, I guess, send them to space and alternate dimensions, because I don't know anything about this place.
Look, the only thing I know about New York is it has a lot of tall buildings. Other than that, you got me.
That sounds about what they knew, too. Like,
well, that's all you know. That's all you got to work with.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, I mentioned this before. I have a suspension of disbelief. I mentioned this back in the Spider-Man review, what they're doing with the PS4 Spider-Man game. They literally took what they know about New York and augmented it to fit Spider-Man. Like, in the park, the trees are higher up, and there's more trees, so you can swing from them. That you would actually see in Central Park and stuff like that. And that works for me. If you can make a system of disbelief to make and work it with the characters, I'm good. I don't know that much about New York beyond that. Tall buildings and a park. I'm good.
Yeah.
So
tall buildings and pizza.
Yeah,
which,
well,
again,
the pizzas you can find anywhere.
Like what they knew.
I mean, that was the other thing about the 80s cartoons. They put a lot of weird shit on their pizzas.
Oh yeah,
Ice cream, peanut butter, marshmallows,
but no anchovies.
sardines. Uh, God, the list goes on. Like things you would never consider putting on a pizza.
Well, to each their own. I might consider some of it.
Some of it, but not all at once. I mean, shit. When I make that list, I'm saying they put that all on the pizza at the same time, not individual ingredients.
I I'd give it a try. I'd give it an honest try.
Anything besides anything besides the fish stuff. I can't do anything
Oh
that can
yeah.
stare at me.
Oh no, me either.
Like my food can stare back at me while I'm eating it. No, no, cut off the
Yeah,
head. That's a different story.
yeah, that's fair.
Okay, so we got a little bit of the ground basic of the history. Let's talk about the characters. Well, I suppose
Oh,
it's
there's
fair enough
so
we should
many.
talk about their teacher because he's kind of one that named, raised, and marked them individually.
Yep.
Originally, he was known as Hamato Yoshi. A
Yes.
It's kind of weird that there's actually such a high level ninja dojo going on at the time period because this was only like still almost modern day at the time.
Yeah. It's the dates are funny when you really size
Yeah,
it up.
because when you go to his history, it almost feels like more a feudal time era, but it's actually still modern at the time it was released.
Mm.
Because they're wearing like the kimonos and stuff like that, and it's like an old traditional Japanese building that I can't think of the names of because I am terrible at shit like that.
Yeah. Okay, I know what you're talking about though.
But he was a Hamato Yoshi, an honorable ninja, training alongside Rokosaki, a not so honorable ninja. So technically a ninja. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but when I think ninja, honorable is not the first term that comes to mind. Backstabbing,
So,
sneaky, stealthy, killer, assassin. These are things that come to mind.
yeah. It doesn't even crack the top 10. No.
No. But, so, when it came time to. Well, in the original version, it came. The Grand Ninja Master was coming for a visit. Orokosaki tricked Hamato Yoshi into appearing as trying to assassinate the Grand Master. Hamato Yoshi got kicked out and came to New York and lived in the sewers. Go figure. Now,
I mean, yeah.
that's the primary for the 80s cartoon. I mean, I guess it's a kid show, so you really can't go too gory into it. But for the comic, I think it followed almost the same line, if I remember right. I don't remember now off the top of my head, and that's going to bother the hell out of me. But in the movie, Splinter was just a rat and learned martial arts or ninjutsu by watching Hamato Yoshi, his owner. And that's a goddamn smart rat to pull that off. No, literally, an ordinary rat, not genetically modified, not some space rat, an ordinary pet rat copied a human doing martial arts. I have a suspension of disbelief, but we're kind of pushing limits here.
Yeah, I've had pet rats.
Any of them ever do martial arts?
No, but I mean, neither did I. So,
well, there you go. You're not trying hard enough for them.
but like, domesticated rats that you would keep as a pet, their intelligence is a little exaggerated. Like,
well,
I mean,
imagine rats
sometimes,
are more of an instinct animal.
yeah, yeah, they are definitely. I mean, I don't know, maybe. Maybe that's just over here in Canada. Maybe in Japan.
Maybe we just need
they're
rats from New York. Maybe that's what we need.
oh yeah. Yeah, that's what it is.
Because with everything that tries to kill them in New York, maybe that's where all the intelligence comes from.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I mean, you got
That could be it.
cats, alligators in the sewers. Shit, I can't even think of how many things would probably try and kill a rat in New York. Probably things I wouldn't even think of.
Yeah, just most everything they encounter, I would imagine.
I don't think instinct would survive everything that comes at him.
Yeah.
But then there's one where he was killed in ancient Japan and his spirit was reincarnated into a rat. That's really kind of weird, but it kind of works at the same time. Because basically what happened was, in the ancient past, Splinter and his 4 sons were caused as traitors, got killed by Saki, and then reborn as 4 turtles and a rat, who miraculously got together in the same lab to be experimented on.
So, what does that one come from? Where's that origin story from?
That one is from the recent comics, when they redid everything.
Oh, it's the IDW series.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty much what happened was that in ancient Japan, Splinter and his wife had 4 sons. Again, Splinter was set up to be betrayed and outcasted from his clan. And while fleeing, he trained his sons in the form of martial arts and ninjutsu, which the clan was called the Foot Clan. I forgot to mention that earlier. But
yeah.
They were hunted down, killed. Hamato Yoshi swore revenge and be with his family again. And then miraculously, they were all reincarnated as a rat and 4 turtles in the same lab that were experimented on. Kind of like the same with the Michael Bay turtles, but with less the past lives kind of thing.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Michael Bay, that version, that really kind of pulled out the training as ninjas really out of their ass. I found a book that taught how to be a ninja, and I trained my sons. Like, did you know how to read Japanese before then? Or... Because I noticed that book was written in Japanese, so where did you learn Japanese?
It's like the Reading Rainbow edition of the Turtles origin story.
Yeah, reading is magical or something like that. Kiss my ass. Where did you learn to read Japanese? Because this apparently was the first book you picked up off the ground.
Was there a second book on how to speak Japanese that maybe they didn't show?
Was there a book just miraculously underneath the second book on how to read Japanese, and the other one said how to translate Japanese? Like, this is kind of plot convenient, people. It's almost like we're supposed to ignore this so we can get on to the action.
No,
Michael Bay's never done that. Scour over minor details to get to things exploding.
Never, not once.
No. I mean, granted, though, I'll get into tangent about that later. Let's move on to the turtles themselves. We have 4 turtles, each named after the Renaissance. Leonardo, Michelangelo, Raphael, and Donatello.
And Venus de Milo.
Shut up. God, never bring her up again unless I'm going to go on a tangent with her. Out of the 4, which one was your favorite?
I've kind of switched on that. Like, growing up, Michelangelo was absolutely my favorite.
Yeah, he was a very popular one in the original.
I mean, I was the kid who always liked the comedic relief, so you know. But in my adult years, I have become more of a Donatello guy.
Yes, that's my favorite one too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's been my steadfast favorite turtle. So basically, the way this works is that Leonardo is the one wearing the blue bandana and has the 2. Well, they call them katanas, but they're actually, I believe the term is ninja toes, which are a Hollywood invention. There's never any actual evidence showing that ninjas actually use these short katanas.
Really?
Yep. If you look, it was katanas and wakizashis were the 2 main swords in Japan. The ninja toe, which I believe is the actual correct term, was never actually any evidence found used back in ancient Japan. It was all a Hollywood invention for the ninjas.
But they look so cool.
Oh, I'm not arguing that. Hell, shit. But yeah, he was the one in blue and the leader of the group. And the steadfast way of training to be a proper ninja.
Yeah.
After that, he was pretty much just a teen, really. I mean, once he kind of opened up a bit more, he was a better character for it. But his main focus was to be the leader, keep his brothers safe, keep the lair and everyone from being found out.
Yeah.
After that was my favorite, Donatello, which was the scientist, inventor, the one in purple, and the bow staff. In fact, because of him, I love any bow staff fights I can ever watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're underrated.
Oh, highly underrated.
Like, when they're well choreographed, they're fantastic.
Oh, highly fun to watch. He also made a lot of the electrical systems throughout the turtle lair, made the turtle van, the turtle blimp. interdimensional travel, solved a lot of the problems when aliens came to invade because he had like an IQ of like I think they said like 400 something. Because Jesus Christ,
his list of inventions is interesting.
the
It's
turtle
like
calm.
what have you built? A van, a blimp, a device for interdimensional travel, also some lighting and stuff.
I cloned
Like
myself in one episode, which
like
that got weird.
yeah, it goes from like basic mechanic to this is the smartest scientist on Earth.
Yeah, pretty much.
There's not much in between.
Which kind of explains how they stayed so hidden. Because if they ever tried to find the turtles with electronics, yeah, good luck on that.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that came Michelangelo, which I always thought was the youngest of the four, the way he felt to me.
Seems like it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's the more goofballish, wants to have fun, but he didn't seem like he wanted to put anybody in danger at the same time for his fun half the time. Most of the time he
No.
did that, it was an accident.
Yeah.
And
yeah, absolutely.
every once in a while you just wanted to strangle him, but you always get that tendency with younger siblings.
Yeah. Yeah. I can agree with that.
Especially when Raphael's concerned.
Mm,
Because
yeah.
he was the one with the anger issues and the size.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah.
he really did have anger issues half the time. And always with Leonardo or Michelangelo. Donatello just seemed to leave him alone.
Well, yeah, because I mean it makes sense. If you got someone with a temper, the people that they're going to clash with the most are their direct rival and their opposite, which that's Leo and Mikey.
Mm-hmm. Donnie just seemed to be smart enough to just go, I'm going to my lair inventor area and just leaving you all alone to argue amongst yourselves. I got better things to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, he was the smart one, so.
Yeah.
In more than one way.
Me and Em always agreed that Leo was the leader, Donatello was the one second in command. Because I would not put Mikey or Raph in charge of any group.
No, not a chance.
No.
No.
Mikey is too energetic is the place word I could put for it. And Raph has
also,
too much anger issues.
They're both too distracted for various reasons.
Yeah. So we always agreed that Donatello was the second in command just for convenience, and that it made a lot more sense than anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
And it was great because the way these four actually worked together, they functioned as a team. Individually, they're great ninjas and able to combat their way out of most situations. But as a team and a family, that's where all the real fun of the show really came to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the other fun thing was that they knew if they were found out, they would be caught and experimented on because they're not a normal scene in New York.
No.
I mean, New York sees a lot of fucked up shit, but that's still, they're going to be caught and experimented on.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then again, with the 80s cartoon, you kind of figured when they were going to be caught was just a matter of when, not if. Because while the title Ninjas was in the title, you shouldn't put your logo on everything you invent, especially the blimp.
Yeah, really though.
I realize this is a toy show, but launching your title is kind of like advertising "Come capture us."
Yeah, pretty much. They're not. I don't know. They pretty loosely use the term ninja.
I mean, they can vanish without a sight pretty well, but when you have your name across the blimp and you're flying across New York in broad daylight, you're kind of easy to track.
I feel like a more accurate, like an accurately titled show would have been Teenage Mutant Karate Turtles, maybe?
For the early 80s, yes. That would have been a much more accurate, or Martial Arts Turtles.
Yeah, there you go.
Something a little less ninja-y.
Yeah.
But it's also because that maybe a minor lack in ninja training that they found their first human friend, April O'Neil. Who, I'm sorry, many fans, she was not originally black. You can take that theory and shove it up your ass.
Is that a theory?
It's okay. I never try and bring politics or religion into the show because it's much more of a headache than I want to put up with.
Okay.
But the original April O'Neil was white. Come to 2018 and make it a black, and because all the controversy with that, people say, "Oh, she was always meant to be black. She was always supposed to be this." No, she was originally drawn white. The reason she appeared tanner and had the frizzy hair in the comics because she went to a tanning salon and had her hair done. That was it. But moving off that tangent, because like I said, I'm not bringing too much drama into this because I'll have a headache from now until I die.
Yeah.
She was the first human friend, and she was actually originally an assistant to Baxter Stockman, creating the Mousers. That tracked and located this lair of the Turtles, and when they went to investigate that attack, they found April O'Neil, who was turning her back on Baxter Stockman and running away from the Mousers that were attacking her. And her reaction was quite normal, that she freaked the hell out.
Of course.
Well, if you saw 4 to 5 feet walking turtles on hind legs with ninja weapons, I'd be a little freaked out too.
Unless they were wearing overcoats and hats, in which case that would be totally normal.
Oh, yes. As I told M, fedoras and trench coats hides everything. I talked about this back in the Making an X episode. Once you wear those, you're completely invisible to whatever anybody expects you to be.
Yep.
Plus, they didn't offer any pizza, so that was immediately just a turn down.
Yeah.
But she originally went from there to working at her parents' antique shop, working Channel 6, news reporter, blah, blah. She's had a couple of different jobs throughout her incarnations. I think really her most famous was working for Channel 6 and being the kidnappee of the week.
Yeah, that's basically like how I know her best.
Yeah. I mean, she did have some other points in the comics and the 2003 edition. Because she never became a reporter in the 2003 edition. But she wasn't kidnapped nearly as often as the 1980s version of her.
Yeah.
But she really kind of was their first real connection to the human world. That they could come and see her apartment, and kind of see the human world for everything that they couldn't come out and find.
Yeah.
So I kind of liked her, and her ages kind of jumped around. In the 2012, she was the same age as the Turtles. Michael Bay, she was kind of a convenient plot device.
Yeah.
Because she really had her foot in everything that Michael Bay, it'd just be a plot device.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I've never really cared for April O'Neil. Not in I've never disliked the character, but I don't know, I found like a lot of fans get very protective over changes that they've made or someone casted as April O'Neil, and in my opinion, the character's never been specific enough with a personality for them to actually ever be any significant changes that matter.
Yeah.
Like, essentially, when you boil down her personality, she is a female who sometimes is a news reporter, and yeah, that's about it. Really.
Well, I think I really like her 2003 version because I think she was the more popular one, and for a lot of good reasons. Because she was more, she had more personality to her.
Yeah.
Because the 1980s was like I pretty much said, just to be kidnapped and have a plot driven around it.
Yeah, of course.
The 2003, she had a lot more energy, and she was more of a character, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Which also followed a little bit more of the original comics of having her work for Baxter Stockman at the start of it.
Yeah, I like that.
Concerning April, I guess the next most famous character would be Casey Jones.
Yeah.
In the original cartoon, he was kind of a crazy lunatic fighting crime.
Pretty much, yeah.
Kind of like Hobo Batman without the training.
Kind of like in the beginning of The Dark Knight, the guys in the hockey pads, with the guns.
Yeah.
He's basically them, except a little crazier, and
hits
with
the gym every goddamn day.
yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, because he was just. I think the only reason he actually pulled off half the stunts he did because he was just out of his goddamn mind.
Oh, definitely. Like a combination of not being properly medicated and just like pure adrenaline running through his veins. Yeah, I think that's what did most of it.
Oh yeah. um, I guess we'll go with the villains now because that's more the main hero cast that kind of popped up. Well, Casey Jones didn't
Yeah.
appear that much in
Yeah.
the '80s cartoons, but he appeared a lot more. He was a lot more subtle in the 2003, a lot more calm and helpful in 2003. In the latest Michael Bay, he was a detective that got fired and then kind of worked the job anyway. Kind of blandness to him.
Yeah.
But he really was. He's the one that I felt was more bland to me than anything else.
You,
So,
in the newest incarnation, or what do you mean?
in the '80s, he was just like I said, the muscle-bound guy with the hockey mask trying to beat up criminals.
Okay, yeah.
Wasn't that interested in him in the cartoon? Actually, no, in the IDW reincarnation in the comics, he actually got a lot more interesting. But
Okay.
his father was kind of became a crime lord, and he wanted to fight crime. It's a whole interesting thing in the IDW comics has actually done the Turtles really good justice, in my opinion.
I've heard great things, but I just never got around to them.
If you want, I got a link I can give you, kind of get you started with it.
Yeah.
But it's, like I said, the IDW, I have a few minor issues with it, but overall, I think it's the best incarnation of the Turtles, followed by the 2003 rendition.
Okay. Yeah.
But as we already mentioned, Oroku Saki is one of the villains. He now goes by the name Shredder and has a bunch of blades on his armor.
Yeah. There's a funny story that they tell about where they came up with the idea for Shredder. Have you heard this one?
Go ahead anyway, because I may not have.
Okay, the story that I've heard is I believe Eastman and Laird were having dinner together at one of their houses or something, and being the nerds that they were, in the same way that they came up with the idea for the story, just joking around and taking jokes far. One of them put one of those huge block cheese graters over his hand and said, "Look at me, I'm the grater. I'm like a villain or something." And it eventually came to Shredder, and they actually went with it.
That's just silly enough to be true.
It is, right? I fully believe it.
Because you know how nerds get with their ideas. If they go out with it, they just go full throttle. There is no breaks.
Yeah. And like thinking about those huge block cheese graters with like the handle and the opening on top, like that is not that far off.
Yeah, it just looks like a giant cowbell with holes in it.
Yeah, and it's not far off from the armor that Shredder actually wore on his arms.
No, he was just covered in blades. He had a blade fetish, ladies and gentlemen. There's no denying that.
Mm.
In fact, in the original cartoon, he was also voiced by, oh god, I forget his name, the uncle from Prince of Bel-Air.
Yes, Uncle Phil.
God, I forget
that actor's name. Forget the actor's name.
Yeah, I can't think of it now at the top of my head.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he passed away because that was a tragedy to me. I was like, oh, damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a couple years back there. R.I.P. Uncle Phil / Shredder.
/ whatever your actual name is, because I feel bad for not remembering it.
Well, yeah.
Then again, I can't remember yesterday half the time, so I'm not surprised. Yeah, one of the things you find is I have a really random memory when I remember shit.
Yeah, me too. Like I'll remember very specific things. Like I won't remember what I had for breakfast, but then I'll remember exactly where I was when I first watched this movie or something. Like I can down to the date.
Yeah, every friend I have has that weird memory problem. Maybe it's just people I know.
I think it's probably the reason that we're all so geeky.
Possibly.
Yeah, there's definitely some correlation there.
Yeah, there's got to be something. Somebody go start on that chart and let us get back to us. Because I'll probably forget to do it.
Yeah.
But along with the '80s cartoon came along the villain named Krang, who was a pink, squishy, interdimensional traveler about the size of a basketball. I want to say.
Yeah, not far off. I think that's about right.
Yeah,
he's supposed to. I mean, based on that sort of homunculus thing, he the body that he fits himself in, he's probably around the size of an overweight man's like midsection, I guess.
Yeah, I still say basketball.
Yeah.
I think they actually used him as one of the episodes because how squishy he was.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, if you fit in the net, then I guess so.
Yeah, but he wanted to conquer Earth and expand his territory from Dimension X. Because everything that was unknown was always X in the 80s. X this, X that, X thingies. And the funny thing was, in the original and the 2003, Shrek and Shredder were kind of the same character as being an alien known as the Utrons. Because Shredder came back as the alien in the original, and then he was an alien in the 2003 rendition.
Yeah.
It's this weird kind of thing, and kind of preferred the way the 2003s handled it. Like, nobody knew until he came back from the supposed dead when they chopped off the robot's head. Really kind of mixed signals on that one.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about with them kind of going off the deep end. Like, what everyone remembers as a pretty straightforward superhero, like heroes in the street fighting with karate story, very quickly goes to like you said, Dimension X and Utrons, and you get all these weird characters like punk frogs and
the neutrinos with their flying cars.
Yeah. So like it goes off the deep end so quickly. That's fun. Like, it's part of
the 1980s had that random funness to it that made it great. The 2003s tried to make it a bit more serious, but still kind of kept that random what is going on feeling to it.
Yeah.
But I suppose the next two villains we'll talk to before we move on would be Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yes.
Which were surprisingly absent in the 2003 and I believe the 2012 series.
They kind of got forgotten for a while there.
Yeah.
No, they were in the 2012 series, but I don't think they used them in like the first season.
I didn't get far past the first season with the 2012, I'll be honest. I keep meaning to catch up on that, but I fell off of it.
Yeah, I didn't like watch straight through. I was kind of on and off, and the occasional episode here and there.
I mean, I did like the 2012 Karai being Splinter's daughter. That they didn't realize that yet.
Yeah,
and shit like that. So I think every iteration had its own fun ideas, but some of it paid off, some of it didn't.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, Bebop and Rocksteady were two criminals that got taken by Shredder and mutated into a rhinoceros hybrid and a warthog hybrid. And they're just really best known for being two complete total idiots.
Oh yeah, like
they were just meant to be pure muscle. They weren't meant to be anything else.
No. That was sort of a common thing in 80s and 90s cartoons, where the megalomaniac villain had two henchmen who were similar in some way and were not the brightest and were kind of played for comedic relief.
Mm-hmm. And that was these two, because these two did not have a brain cell between them.
No, not at all.
And no matter where I looked, I could never find Bebop's glasses.
No? God damn.
But, yeah, that's pretty much I would think would be the main cast of it, really. Because everything else just kind of felt like the villain of the day, brought in for the show, mutated for entertainment.
And then sold on shelves.
Mm-hmm.
Very quickly.
I mean,
I think you're right. You got all the...
I mean, you did have a few different villains and mutants for depending upon what series you're talking about.
Yeah.
But That was how it originally started with those guys.
Yeah.
Now, they've been in a wide variety of movies, cartoons, movies, games. There's even an anime in Japan that was kind of like a short two-parter. They got really weird with like a cosmic fairy, magical stones. I think they were called like mutastones or something like that. It just got weird.
Oh yeah, and that's what I was saying earlier. Like between the '80s cartoon and now, they haven't really stopped. There hasn't really been much of a lull. They've always been doing something Turtles.
But I'm going to get on my rant about the 2018 Turtles because
Okay, yeah. How much did you watch? Just the first episode, or
the first episode only, and I just couldn't go beyond that.
Yeah. Okay.
Because my first problem is the turtles themselves. Now, the idea of them being mutated from different kinds of turtles and being different in size and shape a little bit, I'm fine with that. That seems more logical to me. Like, you got Leo being the more standard size, Raph being a bit bulkier, Mikey being smaller, and Don being, like, just the taller, lankier one. That works for me. But if you're going to have me believe they're going to be ninjas, Raph is way too big.
He's pretty fucking big.
He's like a tank. I mean, really, snapping turtles are like really large turtles, but it's a mutant turtle. You can kind of tone him down and you can still believe it because he is massive in size and it just shows. And then you're kind of curious to how nobody notices this gigantic turtle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now, I don't mind him starting off as the leader of the Turtles. It could be a huge story development for the whole entire group. That's fine. Because being a leader can sometimes have you develop immaturity and as a person and as with your team. It works for what I think they could possibly go with it. But then you leave the question of what to do with Leonardo. Because Raphael still has some anger issues. He's got insecurities. But Leonardo just kind of comes off as just the random guy that's there to make one-liners. And I just think that's just a terrible character for him.
Yeah.
There's no depth to that. It's just, I'm here to make one-liner and try and be cool. Then Michelangelo's doing the same thing. So you got two turtles kind of doing the exact same job. And it just doesn't mesh well to me. And then Donatello's got inventions that he can't control. Why? I mean, I know Donatello likes to test things, but putting two giant rockets on the end of his staff just doesn't seem that good of an idea to me. Especially how often he seems to lose control of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And at the beginning, April kind of has them access to a rooftop. Where did she get the keys? Does her father own the building? Does she have a friend? I'm not trying to put stereotypes, but did she steal the keys? Where's that going? Because I kind of question how she got to the roof as she said, and gotten the keys for it, which there's no explanation on that.
Yeah.
And it all just, and the major problem with that is that the Turtles, I am always up for trying something new, but and later in the episode, April feels more like a ninja than the Turtles do, which is another huge problem I have at this point. I mean, yeah, you could argue the 80s Turtles were not that big of ninjas. They were goddamn invisible compared to these guys.
Yeah.
Because there's this one scene that I think kind of iterates where Mikey and Raph try and hide. Raph stands behind a steel beam that doesn't hide him at all, and Mikey's just hanging from above him. And all he says is, I think he can see us. No shit, you terrible ninja. He'd have to be blind not to see where you're hiding. And it's a question of, why did... they seem to be well-trained and not trained at the same time, and there seems to be a real inconsistency with that.
Yeah.
Because even when Michelangelo's flailing his nunchucks to try and free himself from the bad guy's grip, He's doing more damage to himself than anything else. And it's like, you were trained, right? Master Splinter just didn't give you these things and tell you to go away. Because and Master Splinter is the biggest headache I have about this show. He seems like the lazy uncle no one wants anything to do with. Because when they first show him, he's sitting on the couch watching some random Japanese show on some projector, which I said something to do with, I think, like Scorpions and the guy running on a treadmill, which seemed infinitely more amusing than this show at the moment. He comes off as some lazy bum that just wants to be left alone. And the best quote I can get from him is, "No, I don't want to move. My butt's asleep just the way I like it." I'm like, have you seen the other Master Splinters? Because they're a lot more caring and more of a father figure than you're appearing at this moment. Could you kind of be a character instead of just someone we're supposed to forget about? Because nothing about this is funny. And it just... the entire thing just feels off to me. It feels that there's no commitment to their characters. It just feels like it's mostly meant to be some shot-off slapstick with random bits of action thrown into it. And there's just no consistency to it because they're either trained... middle trained or not trained at all, and it feels like it's going round and about with it. Because it feels like these turtles should be the easiest thing to capture on the entire planet with the way they go about things. And after 2003 series to 2012, where they managed to pull off being great ninjas, being stealthy, going about it, their training, it just seems to fall flat with these. And I know I'm repeating the point, but it just feels off on the entire thing. There's no consistency to it. And
yeah,
I mean, even when they get the new weapons, they decide, hey, let's bring these weapons, bring in the battle, and find out they do all these weird shit, and get our asses handed to because we don't understand our new weapons at all. Because it just seems to me that they're just so random with half this shit. They just, here, have weapons. Here, this is right next door. It's like, April, after being following the bad guys who stole this animal, is shown to be more of a ninja than the 4 supposedly trained ninjas. Because she found out where the enemy's lair was, she found the weapons locker, and then decides to go rampaging at the main villain of the episode. Not the brightest thing you could have been doing, April.
No. And
she just seems to be there just to try and be sassy and just to have a character there. And it just seems to me oh, you stepped to me, stepped up him, stepped to you, stepped up me. It's like, where are you going with this sentence? Because that seems to be completely, totally pointless. Because you already had the giant turtle stepping in to kick his ass for you. You don't really need to try and get this conversation going further. And it's... I don't know, it just doesn't feel like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles show to me. I mean, maybe I'll be wrong, maybe they'll design things in a farther episode, but that's just my opinion. It just doesn't feel like anything's actually connecting.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go on a 3-hour tangent as full of specifics, but I try to keep these episodes about an hour long, and we're already hitting the 55-minute mark.
Yeah. I'm just going to give you my thoughts on it real quick here. So, for starters, I'm probably the worst person to have a wasted potential episode on the Turtles with, because I'm the biggest apologist for some of these turtle incarnations. So overall, it didn't do anything for me. I'm not going to watch more. The show is definitely not for me.
No, I'm not going to watch more either.
No, I wasn't even going to watch the first episode, but you mentioned that we should probably review it, so okay, I checked it out. But I'm gonna pick up a couple of the points on it that I thought were ideas, or even just I like that they're doing this.
Well, that's part of the show, is that you can always try new things that have potential there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They are trying something different, very different in a lot of ways. It's like you said, it's not even really that recognizable as Ninja Turtles, But I mean, they are trying something different. I like one thing I really like. I feel like we've gotten the Turtles origin story 1,000,001 fucking times, and I'm glad that the first episode doesn't include an origin story. I don't know if
Yeah,
they're
kind
still
of
going
like
to do one.
Spider-Man at this point. Everybody knows it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Spider-Man. It's like Batman. Everybody knows about Uncle Ben. Everybody knows about the fucking Waynes. Everybody knows about the ooze and the sewer and Splinter. Like, you don't need to show that story. So I'm glad they skipped that. And honestly, I feel like a lot of the issues with the show that are just from, like, when it comes to the Turtles cartoons, every version so far has taken the story and said, okay, how can we twist this to appeal to kids right now? So, like, you've got the 80s cartoon where it's like, okay, kids are into pizza and like surfer voices are a big thing these days, and let's be awesome and radical. And then you get into 2003's cartoon, which, like, I mean, at that point, you're following on the shoulders of the X-Men, Spider-Man, Batman animated series cartoons, so you got to go a little darker. And I feel like this is what this one is doing too. It's just kids these days are into, like, the YouTube and Vine humor, and I feel like that's what it's going for.
Yeah, I think the other problem is that they're planning on making every episode 11 minutes long. That premiere 22 minutes was kind of like a full-length thing that they're not going to do mostly with the show.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Which it feels really weird idea to me.
Yeah.
It feels like they're just saying, oh, well, kids don't have the attention span for it. Screw it.
Yeah. Like, yeah, I just, like, overall, it's just, for me, it's not my kind of show, and I'm not going to watch it, but
I only watched episode 1 because it was a TMNT. I have a long history with them, and I just at least wanted to check it out.
Yeah. I wouldn't, like, I just feel like this is a show, it's not for longtime fans. It's for kids today.
Yeah.
And
I don't remember who I saw said it, but I was watching the review of it just to see what the opinion out there was. And he said that this may not be the incarnation for you, but you can almost guarantee there'll be an incarnation down the road that'll probably more suit your tastes, or you can go back to other incarnations that do. So
yeah.
It's not like this is, at least I really hope not, this is going to be the thing that kills the Turtles.
No,
because
they're not. They'll never die.
No, and I think that's one of the things I'm grateful for. But after seeing the IDW comics and the 2003 and the 2012, I honestly think that if you're going to do it, you need to focus a little bit more on the ninja in the title. You got the Turtles, you got the teenagers, you got the mutant. Shows you got to pick up this ninja thing. It's kind of imperative they not be found out or they'll be experimented on by the government.
Yeah.
Because if the government found out how you got mutated, yeah, mutant soldier is going to be a thing down the road. And I don't think we need that.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, we can barely do it with normal soldiers. Let's not bring in the mutants anything into this. But I got to say, my favorite incarnations, like I said, the 2003 and the IDWs and the originals.
Okay.
Those were my 3 top standing versions of them.
Okay. Yeah. That's
because fair. The 2003 was the first one I saw where they were really starting to be ninjas. They were more out of sight. They were solving more things by staying out of sight and doing tricks. And then the martial arts was also fun to watch. The originals, they were very more ninja-like, and they were more leaning towards killing, but it wasn't always their first solution, which kind of made it feel more realistic as ninjas. And the IDW, I think, just gave that plot twist to the story that I enjoyed so much more from it.
Yeah.
Because you got the dimensional travel, you got the Shredder, you got Krang, and you got a whole slew of new characters, like old Hobbs, which was a cat mutated along with the Turtles that almost killed Raphael. It's just a glorious thing to watch this new twist on it. Because they even, in the original, when they were all supposed to be wearing red bandanas, that was actually an homage to their... Because Raphael got lost when they first mutated, so they were trying to find him. They're all wearing a mask as a reminder to find their lost brother. And when they did find Raphael, Splinter gave them their own colored bandanas. So it was kind of like a new way of paying homage to all the Red Mask and still adding their little spin to it, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
So
that's awesome.
Yeah, so like I said, honestly, as it was said, there's going to be an incarnation for everyone. This isn't my case, so I'm going to skip it entirely because
personally, my favorite incarnation is something we have not even mentioned, and that is Turtles in Time. That's what I would call my favorite version of the Turtles, because I could play that game all day, every day.
That was a glorious game.
It's and I mean, it's just so straight and to the point. You get the action. You're getting some comedic relief in there. You're getting a taste of all these great characters.
Yeah.
It's probably the best
easy to lose yourself
game ever. Oh yeah, absolutely. And honestly, if I'm picking a top three, I'm going. And it's kind of a stupid top three because it kind of goes all over the place. But Turtles in Time, the '80s cartoon, and I'm calling the action figure line, the original '80s action figure line, one of my favorite incarnations of the Turtles.
Yeah, the one the cartoon was based off of. Yeah, those were fun.
Because they took the cartoons and then they just made them fucking gross as shit. Like there was ooze and just disgusting stuff on every character, which like
yeah.
I mean, at the time,
then there was like so many iterations. Like there's a beach time version of them. I actually had that one that had the little backpack you fill with water and make it shoot water out of his mouth.
The Davy Crockett Raphael was one.
Oh god. Then you had the ones that talk when you pull the ripcord through its back.
Oh my god!
Barely understand unless you put it right up against your ear as you did it.
They're all over the place. Like
then you had the space exploration turtles.
Oh yeah. Forget those.
God, they've been just about everywhere, haven't they?
Oh yeah, they really have. If it is something you can sum up in a costume, the Turtles have done it.
Then you had the ones that could like mutate from regular turtles to their mutated forms.
Oh my god, I forgot about those. Yeah, they totally played on the Transformer figures, right?
Yeah, I think there was an actual Transformer for the oh god, what was it called? The giant machine thing, the Technodrome.
Oh yeah.
I think that had like a Transformer version of it.
That wouldn't surprise me even a little bit.
No, it wouldn't. Because that thing was massive.
Yeah. So, did you want to get into, I guess, the wasted potential side of it and changes we'd like to see, or are we?
The major change I would like to see, as I said before, is I want to focus on the ninja aspect. Hiding in the shadows, not being found. That's really my major problem with the 2018 from it, but in pretty much any incarnation coming, is that they understand that they are not normal things to be seen in this world, or in their world.
Yeah.
They are creatures mutated, and it would just lead to so many issues they were found out. And Master Splinter would probably ingrain this, do not be found, because bad things will happen. And their early relationship with April, I think, is too on-the-nose open. Maybe flesh it out to her gaining their trust by communicating with them.
Yeah.
And it could lead this whole arc in them opening up as this secluded family, because they have to be, because so much shit would go wrong for that family if they were found out by the humans. And like I said, their interactions, for the most part, between the four of them is fine to me. But when someone finds them out, they seem to be all so easy to include them into their family. Which is fine after a while, when they get used to incorporating people into their small society. But after, like, 12 to 16 years somewhere, or even 18 years of being told all these horrifying things that might happen to you, or to be taught to be in the shadows, trust with other people is not high on their list, I don't think.
No, that's actually a really good point.
Yeah, turtles are usually secretive on their own, or ninjas, I mean.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make that whole lot of sense to just welcome everyone with open arms. Now, that's not to say they're not going to be curious about the world. God, no. I mean, they're teenagers. They want to see all this shit. But being too open about it would lead to further issues. And they could work with that in a whole slew of interesting ideas, I think.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing at you just saying that turtles are secretive.
Well, have you ever talked to a turtle? How do you know?
I mean, I guess so. I can't disagree with it. I can't.
Do you know what they're hiding in that shell of theirs?
I do not. I've never checked.
Well, maybe you should go talk to a turtle sometime and just see how easy it is to get communication out of them.
Yeah, I'll get back to you on that one.
But
one. Okay, no, go ahead.
No, please go ahead. You're the guest.
Oh, okay. No, I was gonna say the thing I would like changed in future incarnations. They need to get weird again. Like they play it too safe for my liking.
The 2003 does get out there after like season 3, I think, or even season 2. It really starts going back. Like it keeps that serious level, but they're out in space. They're going to other dimensions. They're being trained by mystical ninjas. It has that familiarity of weirdness, but keeps the turtles focused as ninjas.
Yeah,
which is why I love it.
That's fair.
Because even the T-Rex aliens, they even show up to invade Earth.
That sounds great. Like, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, like, so unpopular opinion here. My favorite live-action Turtles is the most recent movie, Out of the Shadows.
Mine was the original movie, the one with Jim Henson making the animatronics and everything like that.
Yeah. I still really enjoy that one. It's a close second for me, but I like the weird side of the Turtles a little more. And Out of the Shadows was like, hey, let's put Bebop and Rocksteady and Krang and let's.
I enjoy that. My only problem with the Michael Bay Turtles is how huge they were. They were like I have a sense of disbelief for mutated turtles. But these things look like they should be go pounding heads with the Autobots. For God's sake.
They're massive.
And they go slamming into vehicles without a scratch. Like, remember that scene in the first one where they go sliding down the mountain?
Yes.
Kind of... I mean, it was entertaining as all hell. I loved the scene, but at the same time, I'm like...
Yeah.
Raph, you just bent a vehicle in half with your shell. And the shells being bulletproof, I kind of semi-buy... But you think some of the guards would start shooting for their limbs or their heads instead of just constantly aiming for their shells?
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of things like that in the Michael Bay movies that I just don't have a high rating on it. I enjoyed aspects of it, but having them be that size just makes you wonder how they're ninjas.
Yeah,
because
I get that.
Vernon should have noticed the vehicle shift weight when Raphael climbed into that vehicle. I'm sorry. He's just too huge not to shift that thing around.
Yeah.
But I mean, even with Master Splinter in that movie, he was kind of fine. He did all sorts of flips. He even started incorporating his rat tail into attacking with him, which was awesome to watch. Like, that's the kind of thing I liked about it, is that he took his new body and used it to fight with.
Don't get me wrong. I don't think that movie is perfect. I feel like they've never truly got the live action quite right.
No, I think that's the part of the aspect of the ninja thing, in that belief that they're going to be hidden in the shadows, they're not over 6 feet tall and built like a shit brick house.
Yeah.
I mean, due to the mutation thing, I can believe them being stronger than most humans their size, but you kind of overdid a little bit, and that the mutagen was supposed to be some virus to make money off of. No. This is doing a few too many things. This is like plot convenience 101.
Yeah. What I would want to see them do, especially right now, fucking jump all over it. Hire James Gunn while Disney doesn't have him. Hire him, make a Turtles movie in the style of Guardians of the Galaxy, Thor Ragnarok. This weird comedic space fucking
I love
shit.
Thor Ragnarok.
Right? put fucking Wingnut and Screwloose and
oh, I forgot about those two.
fucking Mondo Gecko. Put like a bunch of weird characters out there, and just make like season 4 or 5 of the 80s cartoon into a blockbuster movie.
Yeah, and you can even still keep the ninja aspect with them trying to do stealth to get a drop on the enemies and stuff like that.
Exactly.
And Donatello can make all sorts of inventions to help them get around like he always does. It would be glorious to give that randomness. Like I said, I think this is why you love the 2003, because even Leatherhead shows up as a scientist with anger issues.
Yeah. Oh, we never even talked to fucking Baxter Stockman.
Oh, shit.
Probably like one of my favorite Turtles characters.
Now, he was originally black in the comics, was white in the cartoon, and then got back to being black in the later iterations. But poor guy got mutated into a fly hybrid. Like, damn.
I know. I think that's what really drew me to it, because I'm a Cronenberg fan, so like Jeff Goldblum, The Fly, that whole thing, that's where it drew me in.
Now I just pictured him playing Baxter Stockman in that movie.
I wouldn't be against it. I mean,
no, I just pictured Baxter Stockman doing the Jeff Goldblum from Jurassic Park, and just having Buzz come out of his mouth every once in a while too.
Yeah,
that would just be hilarious.
Might ruin some of the sex appeal a little bit. Oh boy!
But I don't know what you mean.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the Turtles have always been a sort of mixture of randomness and a firm definition. It's kind of hard to point that in the exact words.
Yeah.
But the randomness has always been what comes at them. And that's actually the one point I wanted to say and I forgot to mention, and this is what I'll do, is that they're not pulling a Batman, they're not pulling the Justice League, they're not actively out there looking for trouble. Most of the time, they're just happy to be left alone and interact with other people. Trouble usually finds them, and they have to deal with it. Is the way I like it written. They're not going out in the world looking for that little mugger or the big bad at end the world. No, they get involved because things are going to usually end the world or just focused on them. And they have to deal with it to try and survive.
Yeah.
And that's where I think it really is the best put at. You just combine all that into one movie, it'll be golden. You have the bizarreness, you have the ninjas, you have them being themselves. It just primarily works. I mean, a lot of people actually diss on the 2007 movie, the CGI one.
Yeah.
But that had a lot of what the original 1980s had as well. Bizarre story of statues coming to life, curses from ancient times, Turtles getting involved because they got taken, not really wanting to get involved, Raph being a hothead. It primarily did follow a lot of what the 1980s had, and I liked the 2007 CGI movie.
Yeah, it's been a while since I saw that one, but I always remember it being all right. You know?
I mean, granted, it could have been, the beginning could have worked a little bit better, but in the long run, it was generally what the original Turtles was all about.
Yeah.
Bizarre things happening and bizarrer things coming to figure it out. So, on that note, I would like to end this episode. I would like to thank you for coming on to the show.
Thanks for having me.
If you like hearing this man talk, you can check him more out in Jedi Dropouts, which I do every time he puts something new up. I keep meaning to go back and check out that Venom episode, see what news you had for us, but I digress. I will be back next time with our original co-host M. I hope you have a pleasant day.
Yeah, I just want to say thanks for having me. I've been listening since you started this thing. It's really cool to be a part of it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had to get there somehow.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm used to it. So, I like I said, what was it, like 5 years or something? So, in a couple years' time, feel free to kidnap me again. You know.
Don't worry, I'll have the rope ready. And maybe we'll make it a 3-way with them.
I won't even comment on that one. I'll leave that hanging there.
Good night, everybody.